Okay, guys, so welcome to, I guess, another random fight I thought up. Yeah, if you don't know, I've rebooted the fight sections. Not so much sections anymore, but it's more like whenever I think of a really awesome fight in my head, and I just gotta talk about it. So here we are, more or less. So yeah, see from the title, who would win? Kong versus the I-Rex. Now, this is a fight that was kind of leached in my head during the King Kong Q&A a while back. And during that time, I kind of thought about, wow, what would it be like if you had a Kong and... if you had Kong and the I-Rex go head-to-head. Because that was a question that was asked, and I was just watching Jurassic World before I did this video, and I was kind of like, man... those two, that would be a really awesome fight. So, let's get into it. Now, for posperity's sake, not for posterity, for argument's sake, why did I say prosperity? But for argument's sake, Kong's kind of varied throughout each movie. But, however, for argument's sake, this is going to be the '06 Kong. Why I'm not using Skull Island Kong? Because we haven't seen him yet, we don't know how big he is. He's supposed to be, he's fighting Godzilla, so I'd imagine he's pretty fucking big. So... for this one, I'm going to be using Kong from the Peter Jackson film. So yeah, just imagine that Kong going head-to-head with the I-Rex, which is a pretty big Kong. Now, that Kong moves as a regular gorilla would. He's a little more agile than your ordinary gorilla, despite his large size. He is also, incredibly strong, very clearly intelligent, and very resourceful in some places. Kong is a thinking animal. He's an ape. Apes are incredibly intelligent creatures, and Kong has not just his fists and his agility on his side, but yeah, he can use those teeth. Even though he's a vegetarian, Kong, like most gorillas, will use their teeth in combat. They lack the claws, but, they do have a bite force behind them. As well as, arms that could literally pound you into paste. Now, just bring that up to a 25-foot tall gorilla, and you've got yourself an ass-kicking machine. So, with Kong, he's fought dinosaurs all over Skull Island, namely, T-Rexes, and we're going by the 2006 Kong, he fought 3 V-Rexes. So, in that, Kong's shown that he can take on multiple opponents that are as big as him, if not bigger than him. Then let's look at the I-Rex real quick. The I-Rex was this, as we all know, this genetically modified Frankenstein monster made from DNA from cuttlefish, tree frogs, and a velociraptor and T-Rex. And this thing is highly intelligent. It has these long claws, and if it had fully grown, it would grow to be 50 feet long, but for right now, it's about as big as the T-Rex, which the T-Rex was about 40 feet long, so it was about 10 feet under its supposed size. But, yeah, it also has a few things the T-Rex don't have, which is those velociraptor-like claws that could cut through bulletproof glass, glass that could hold up against 50 caliber bullets. Have the bite force to even tear through that same kind of glass and metal at the same time. You also have an animal that can camouflage, like a fucking predator. Well, it's a predator, but you know what I mean. And it has the intelligence to add to that. So, let's imagine that Kong is on, Kong, or a clone of Kong, or something like that, just Kong in general, is on the same island as the I-Rex. And Kong will perceive that most apes are all apes, I should say, all apes are pretty territorial. If they think their home is threatened, they will go out and whoop some ass. They will leave the sanctity of their home just to take out that threat to their respective territories. So they will lock on to an opponent and hunt them down and fight them even to the death. That is even though Kong doesn't really have any family, that's still his home. That is being threatened by something I would imagine he would consider an abomination. Because animals, not just apes, but all animals have this sense of when they know something or someone is wrong and does not belong on their home, or just doesn't belong in general, they'll kill it. they will kill it because like humans, animals fear what they don't understand. So Kong's going to find the I-Rex, hunt it down, and kill it on even not so much on territory, but he'll be like, you don't belong here. You're something that should not even be on this planet. I need to kill you. So that is one way to look at it. The I-Rex, on the other hand, is going to think Kong is food, and also a threat to to the territory that it's claiming. She is the invader. She is the conqueror. She is the threat to Kong's home. So Kong's going to, Kong is going to go into this fight just balls out, and yeah. So in a fight between Kong and the I-Rex, this is going to be a very up close and bloody fight. These two are just going to go at it, claws and fangs, the whole shebang. Now Kong has a very interesting tool that the I-Rex does not have under her belt. That is those arms. Not so much that he can just reach out and grab her at a longer rate, a longer reach, because, yeah, the I-Rex has some long arms, but they're nowhere near as long as Kong's. But, however, the other thing that Kong has is that he can actually pick up things. He can actually grab and hold on to. I-Rex can do that, too, but it can't make a weapon out of anything. Kong can literally grab a boulder and just start bashing the I-Rex in the head repeatedly to get his point across that I'm going to smash you into paste, bitch. So you have that. He can rip a tree out or grab a large log and just start slamming it into her. However, Kong's going to have some difficulty here because the I-Rex, like I said, has active camouflage and that same kind of level of intelligence that Kong may have. Because if you remember in Jurassic Park 3. Dr. Grant theorized that the Velociraptors were in that continuity were almost as smart as primates, and if you add that to the Velociraptors in here, which clearly show they are very intelligent on their own, this is a very you've also made that animal, you've given an animal a larger brain in that size probably, so. That thing is probably just as intelligent as Kong is, and will probably use its abilities to just this horrible and dangerous extent. So Kong would literally be on his toes in this fight. And also, Kong has the longer reach, but the I-Rex has those claws that, like I said, could tear through bulletproof glass and solid metal. So imagine what they would do to Kong's, body. We clearly saw that if this thing could get through armor of an ankylosaur once it flipped it over. And Kong doesn't have any armor to begin with. All he has is his brains and his brawn. So Kong might go on the defensive in this fight. However, Kong, I think, would kind of realize... Now, I know this is going to be a little odd. Kong, just like in the Showa version of Kong, realized that he couldn't fight Godzilla in a head-to-head fight. And if you transition that thought process to the 06 Kong we're using in the fight, Kong would probably think the same way. Most apes realize, hey, if this doesn't work the first time around, might as well try something different the second time around. That's basic, primate nature as well as human nature. If it doesn't work the first time, try something different. So that's what Kong would probably do, is if he survives his first fight with the I-Rex, then he's going to have to leave, think of something else, or, to the best of his abilities, because remember, he is still an ape. He's not super intelligent. He's no Gorilla Grodd. So he'd have to think about it and be like, okay, how do I fight this? But yeah, the I-Rex has a major size advantage, 40 feet long. Kong may have the height advantage, because the I-Rex, I would imagine, would probably be standing at 18 feet tall, at 40 feet long, and Kong is 25 feet tall, and only, I think it would be, if I do the math right, like 12 to 15 feet long on all fours. At height, at shoulder height, he's 25 feet tall. Standing upright, I would imagine maybe 35 feet, and maybe 30 feet tall, if he's standing on his, standing upright. But yeah, this fight would be incredibly bloody. I don't know who would win. This is these are both very intelligent and savage animals, and they're not going to stop until the other one's dead. So I'm going to ask you guys, who do you think would win in a fight between Kong and the I-Rex? If you think Kong would win, just put hashtag Kong wins and list off the reasons why you think Kong would win. Or if you think the I-Rex would win, just put hashtag I-Rex wins and list off the reasons why you think the I-Rex wins. Really looking forward to see what you guys have to say, because this fight was kind of just like stewing in my head, and I was like, all right, I want to see what what the guys out there think, the guys and girls out there think about this fight. So really looking forward to what you guys have to say about this one, and once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys later.